I would like to welcome you all to the November 18th, 2021 Planning Commission meeting for the City of North Augusta. And greetings as well to those who are watching us on Facebook Live. Would appreciate you all. We'll go through kind of the procedures for everything. When we call for public hearing, if you would like to make a statement, if you could please come to the microphone and give your name and your address. So all those who come to the podium, be you the applicant, be you someone from the public who wishes to share, that you please give your name and address. All right, so we'll be calling to order this meeting at 7 p.m. Could I please have roll call of commissioners?
Larry Watts.
Bob Bigger. Bob Clark. Lynn Carter.
Okay, and I'm Chair Christine Crawford. All right, so first on the, Mr. Paradise, are there any changes or adjustments to the agenda as printed?
No, ma'am.
All right, so we have approval of the minutes from the October 21st study session and regular meeting. Were there any changes or edits that the commissioner saw?
Move to approve. Second.
All those in favor of the approval of the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
So minutes have been approved. You have the first and second?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. And I jumped ahead and did the confirmation of agenda before, so I apologize for that. Next up is the consideration of the comprehensive plan update recommendation. So during the study session, we had Eric Courier and Emery's Langstaff, I know her from middle school, to present the comprehensive plan update, and we discussed it then. So we need to have a recommendation and a motion to present it as the recommended comprehensive plan to City Council. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me step back 1 second before I get that motion. One of the things that I did go over in the study session was that the comprehensive plan, in particular, where we talk about land future use, is what the recommendation is, what we think is best and highest use in general for the city of North Augusta. So be it around the percentage of land that should be parks, be it mixed use, what we think would be the best use for, again, land in North Augusta, but it in no way, shape, or form trumps zoning and what is already done. So if you have a piece of property that is already zoned one way, then how it is presented and recommended thoughts around future land use in no way, shape, or form override that. So we've had some community concerns about a piece of property that is included in an area that is earmarked as preservation and open space, but is currently zoned as R10. That zoning is R10 stands. It is just to help us in the Planning Commission with future cases as citizens may apply for zoning changes. Then it helps give us a guide map around how we should think about those changes and how we've thought about the use of that particular property in a much grander sense. So just wanted to make that clarification and share that as well. All right. Commissioners, are there any other comments or thoughts that you all would like to share around the comprehensive plan? And again, for those of you who weren't here for the study session, we've been going through pieces of the comprehensive plan for probably the last 6 months. So this is just sharing the entire document and recommending the entire document to City Council. And you all have the resolution that we're going to use next to you. So I need a motion to recommend formally the comprehensive plan to City Council.
I'll make a motion that we formally recommend.
All those, are there any questions or discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Thank you all. All right, so first up is application RZM 21-006. And again, to the community, let me apologize, we still don't have AV available. And so, again, apologize that we don't have that available because it is a little hard to follow. But appreciate your patience, and please ask us for any clarity around when we get to the public portion if you have any questions. All right, so application RZM 21-006, a request by Second Providence Baptist Church to rezone approximately 1.63 acres located along Old Edgefield Road and Aiken Avenue, TPNs 006-20-06-003, 006-20-06-004, and 006-20-06-005, and 006-20-06-006 from R10, medium lot, single-family residential to general commercial. So first order of business is any recusals of?
Madam Chairman, I have a relationship with the church that's making petition for rezoning, and I have recused myself.
Okay, thank you. All right. Mr. Paradise, would you like to share any information about the application?
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chairman. If I could get you, since we don't have the video, if you would look at page 145 on your agenda packet, it's an aerial photograph. And what you will see is the church, basically, you have a triangle there between Knox and Old Edgefield Road. And there are 4 parcels there in yellow, and those are the 4 parcels that the rezoning request is about. You'll notice the church up there at the point of the triangle, and then the parking lot, and there's another parcel before that. What is occurring here is the church has actually submitted a site plan for approval to expand the footprint and the parking in the church complex. One of the things in reviewing that site plan was the notation that these lots would be combined so that all of this would be one parcel. Those 4 lots and then the 2 lots that are general commercial. And in order to do that, the first thing they need to do is all be in the same zoning district. You know, you want your zoning lines to run along the property lines. So this is the first step in the process for the church to rezone those so we can approve the site plan, go forward with the site plan approval to have the expansion of the church. This isn't the case, as it's been indicated to us and, you know, the evidence through the site plan submission of somebody wanting to develop these parcels for some business entity. We know what's planned to go here, and it's an expansion of the existing church.
Thank you, Mr. Paradise. Are there any other questions from commissioners for Mr. Paradise before we bring up the applicant?
Mr. Paradise, was it just easier to go general commercial since the church and the parking lot were already zoned general commercial?
I believe so. That is certainly the applicant's decision, but I would think so.
Okay, not a recommendation on that.
No, sir.
Any other questions for Mr. Paradise? All right. So is there a representative from the applicant here that would like to speak? Okay. No, you don't have to. That's certainly. Okay. If you could, since you offered to, and to make sure the folks in Facebook land can hear you and know that you extended that offer, so that if we do have any questions on the.
Good evening. My name is Berkey Ayer. I'm the engineer at Air Corps, Augusta. We are the surveyors of record for the church, and we've done the boundary and topographic survey and all for the new site plan. And there's the gentleman said, that simply a combination to get all the lots in the same configuration so they can go ahead and expand the parking lot in the church. I'm not the engineer of record for the site plan. That's, I think, Civil Design Solutions, but we've been working with them, and as a result, they asked us to go ahead and submit the application for rezoning.
Could you give us your address, please?
My address is 305 Broad Street, Augusta, Georgia, 30901.
All right, and I'm sorry, your name again, just so as I will.
Berkey, B-I-R-K-I-E, Ayer, A-Y-E, excuse me, Ayer.
Okay, for Mr. Berkey.
I was on this commission for 10 years,
Oh,
a long time ago.
all right, Mr. Ayer. So you've explained your relationship to the applicant. Are there any questions for Mr. Ayer? All right.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
All right, and I've got to open it up for public hearing. Are there any members of the public in the community that wish to make comments about this application for Second Providence Baptist Church? There being none, commissioners, do you all have any comments or things that you all would like to discuss before I get a motion? Okay. Well, y'all know what I need next.
Comment. It was I've always had the understanding that a church really doesn't have to have permission to do things, that they are exempted from that.
There are some things they're exempted from, but they still, we would not let them build across property lines,
Oh, I got
That-
it. Okay.
yeah,
I
it's,
couldn't figure out why we were even having to discuss it.
right, and then the property lines are different zoning districts.
Right.
So if it was a case of everything was the same zoning district, then all they would need to do is combine the lots. But here, we need to get them all, and basically, it's similar to the Kia dealership that y'all had a few months back. Need to get them all in the same zoning district, and then the lots can be combined.
And also, I'd like to make the comment, I rode over and looked at the property. I think it's very well maintained in the way they've been doing the property. Mine is.
Yes.
So I'm saying that I think that if you ride over and look at the site, it's very well maintained. And it's always been where they worked with the city to make everything work. So I thought it was a good idea for them.
All right, thank you.
My only question was about the general commercial zoning. Was it really necessary, and would it impact the zoning around it? But yeah, I understand that they've already submitted plans, and it's definitely going to be church expansion. I don't really think it's going to have a negative impact. If there were a question of what it's going to be used for, then I think it would be a different story.
They already have this, both sides of the street done. So,
Mr. Watts, when we were doing the initial review of the site plan, I did that review. And that was one of the things that I was looking at, distances from the adjacent properties, the residential that may be across the street. And it met everything. So.
Good.
I'll make the motion. I move we approve project RZM 21-006, Second Providence Baptist Church, that we forward their request to City Council and request that they approve the zoning as asked.
And that is from single-family residential on series of lots to general commercial.
Yes.
All right. Any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. All right. Next, we have, give Commissioner Key an opportunity to return. And next, we have application RWN 21-001, a request by Mackie Property Development to rename a portion of row from Naple Drive to Rachel Branch in the Forest Bluff Subdivision. The application affects approximately 0.5 acres, TPN 006-11-0003, I'm sorry, -196. First, are there any recusals?
I need to recuse myself, and I have my form.
Thank you. Mr. Paradise? Do
Yes,
you have
ma'am.
any comments or anything that you'd like to share about this application?
Back in October, the Planning Commission approved a preliminary site plan for Mackie Development LLC. And the development, the names of the streets, one of them intersects or goes straight in with Naple Drive. This is about 100 feet. Naple Drive is about 100 feet long. And has nobody addressed off of it. It's a stub-out street for future development. And to make things line up with the naming that the Planning Commission approved for the subdivision, we would need to rename the Naple Drive to Rachel Branch Street for 911 and other addressing. And I believe a representative from Mackie Development is here to speak to you. If you have any questions.
All right. Commissioners, are there any questions for Mr. Paradise on any of his comments? Hearing none, if the representative for the applicant could please step forward. And again, please share your name and address and any comments that you may have.
Good evening. Excuse me. Good evening. My name is Jason Winkter. I represent Mackie Property Development and Ivy Development Group. And address is 672 Industrial Park Drive, Evans. And Mr. Paradise summed it up pretty well, but I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Commissioners, are there any questions for the applicant?
Done.
Okay, all right, thank you. If you could have a seat. All right, so at this time, we will open it up for public hearing. So if there are many members of the North Augusta community who would like to share any comments about this application, please come forward to the mic. If there are no comments, then we will end the public hearing portion. All right. Commissioners, any other comments or discussion?
Seems to be cut and dried.
Okay. If it is indeed cut and dry, then I will take a motion.
I'm in reference to application RWN 31-001, a request by Mackie Property Development LLC to rename the Naple Drive to Rachel Branch. I'm in the Forest Bluff Subdivision. I'd like to make a motion for approval.
Okay, now I had different numbers. I had,
Yeah, you said 31, I think it's 21.
yeah, 21.
RWN 21, that's my dyslexia, so.
All right, so we have motion by Commissioner Key. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, so second by Commissioner Watts. Are there any other questions or discussion before we take a vote? All those in favor, of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, Commissioner Mackie? Someone could. All right, so next on the agenda is application Annex 21, so ANX 21-006, a request by Adams Brothers Property LLC to annex approximately 43.9 acres located along Martintown Road, TPN 106-00-00-041, to be zoned R10 medium lot, single-family residential, and R7 small lot, single-family residential. Are there any recusals for this?
Madam Chairman, I need to recuse myself.
All right, so Commissioner Watts has recused himself at this time. Mr. Paradise, do you have any comments with regards to this application?
Yes, ma'am. If I could ask the commission, ask you to turn to page 174 in your agenda. You'll see a proposed zoning map there. This is a request by the applicant to annex the property into the city of North Augusta. This is a case where the applicant came to North Augusta and said, you know, we would like to annex this property. It is 100% by the property owner. The developer or possible developer of this property, we currently don't have site plans in place for this. The first phase of this development will be get the proper zoning. The developer is looking at annexing 9 acres, and that's why I ask you to turn to this page so you can see how it's kind of laid out. And 9 acres is R7. He specifically stayed away from the R5 because he doesn't want to open it up for apartments. The R7 does allow him flexibility for duplexes, triplexes, patio homes, small lot patio homes, and townhomes. I don't know, like I said, we don't have a site plan, so I don't know what that eventual plan will be. The minimum lot size will be 7,000 square feet. The other 34.1 acres, and I will tell you that in the discussions with the developer, you'll notice that this is pushed up toward the Martintown Road area, and he purposely did that, trying to lessen the impact on Whitewood and Oak Creek. And then the other 34.1 acres is proposed to be zoned R10, which is a medium lot size, single-family residential for our zoning ordinance. And the proposal there would be to build single-family residential homes comparable with some of the developments along Gregory Lake. Well, that is what has been proffered to the planning department through our discussions with this. And I don't see the developer in the room. He was told about the meeting tonight.
Were there any questions for Mr. Paradise about this?
Yeah, just for clarification, you were talking about the 9-acre parcel being kind of having a buffer between the existing neighborhood where Oak Creek and so forth is. So he's put the larger lot requirements between that R7 section and that existing, I don't remember the name of that subdivision that's up there, but it's larger lot, Oak Creek or whatever. But you said, the impact on Oak Creek, there's no connection, not any plans to connect into Oak Creek through this development, and none of the roads that are existing in Oak Creek would be able to connect, right? Because it's cul-de-sacs and everything already.
Correct.
Yeah.
And remember that this is the annexation. The site plan, the preliminary plat approval, will be coming back to y'all to approve the final site plan. This is basically, in talking with the developer, it's North Augusta sewer out there. So to have this density, he needs sewer. And to have City of North Augusta sewer, you need to be in the City of North Augusta. So that's the driver.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Paradise?
I have a question, and this is gonna be, you just tell me what you want me to do. I mean, I recused myself on my own property that y'all just met on. I mean, my husband does business with Adams Supply on a regular basis. Do I need to recuse myself from this? I mean, if you're in this community and you're doing business, it's almost impossible not to know everybody. In fact, my daughter dated his son in high school, so, I mean, I really know him. So what do you want me to do?
That would be a decision that you would need to make, Ms. Mackie. The question that you would have is, does you or a family member have a financial interest
In
Or
this
the-
property?
in this annexation? Or I would say an appearance that you may have a financial
No.
in this annexation.
What? I mean, I know that my husband and he have bought land together before, or sold land to each other, so, I mean, I can recuse myself from it if you want me to.
So, Ms. Mack, you have to make that decision.
Well, that's fine, I'll recuse myself
Okay,
from it.
all right, so we have an additional recusal?
Yeah, I just want to let that be known. 'Cause they-
Okay. All right, thank you, Ms. Mack. Thank you, Commissioner Mackie. All right, so we have an additional recusal. All right. So we have Commissioner Watts and Commissioner Mackie have recused themselves. She's going to update her recusal form. All right, so is the applicant here? Is there a representative from the applicant? Okay. If you could come forward, please, and give your name and address.
Yes, Bobby Bagwell. I'm representing Adams Properties as well as the Prather Company, who will serve as developer for the project. Our address is 4002 Enterprise Court, Martinez, Georgia, 30907.
Thank you. Is there anything that you'd like to share with us about this annexation, or?
I think Mr. Paradise summed it up quite well. The intent for the builder that I'm going to be doing the development for, Stanley Martin, and we've had great communication with Mr. Paradise on this project, and we're also want to emphasize we're using Cranston Engineering for the site conceptual design and survey work for this project.
Commissioners, are there any questions for Mr. Bagwell?
I have none.
All right, we don't have any for you at this time. There may be an opportunity. We may need you to respond for public
Thank you.
comments or hearing. At this time, we would open it up for the public hearing portion. So if there are members of the community that would like to make a comment with regards to the application for annexation, 21-006, please come forward at this time and give your name and address. You do? Okay, so Mr. Paradise, if you could take the microphone to the gentleman in the back, please.
My name is Paul Bunch. My property joins that property all the way back to Oak Creek off of Old Martintown Road. I live at 1415 Old Martintown Road. And I'd like to know from the site plan that they say are not available yet, why you would even consider this, not knowing what's going there. And I don't want to move into a neighborhood, because I live out there and lived out there for better than 50 years. And been pleasantly pleased with the peacefulness that we have out there. And I don't want a town to move to me.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Bunt, for sharing your concerns. Okay, at this point, I will offer, that Mr. Bagwell, if you have a response or an answer. I think it was a question about, without, no site plans and. Okay, I'm having to talk really loudly. Okay. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. These are new mics, so we thought that we were scared of being too loud, so I apologize for that. Is that? Okay, all right. So, Mr. Bagwell, if you could please answer Mr. Bunch's concern.
Yes, ma'am. So the inquiry was about the site plan itself. I was speaking to here. Site plan itself, we're working on that currently.
Okay, I still don't think if you're gonna have to.
Okay, is this better?
Is that better from the audience?
Can you hear me? Okay. So at this stage, we're working on that site plan, but until we receive the annexation, it's really, that has to happen first before we can finalize the site plan to make sure that this property can be annexed. But we're working on it currently. But conceptually is getting zoning in place, and then the site plan will follow with a layout.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioners, any discussion, thoughts around the annexation? Mr. Bunch was the only comment from the public. Let me see that. From the public hearing portion.
I have a comment. The city of North Augusta is expanding, and the property owners, we're seeking to balance the highest and best use, and they're coming forward to the city for annexation. And it's not really that far outside of the footprint of North Augusta, so it's not that it'll be detrimental to us with providing those services, because the city fire, as well as water and police, they've got to travel those roads pretty much anyway, because of how the line for the city of North Augusta is kind of gerrymandered back through that. So in the highest and best use, I feel pretty comfortable with the annexation. That's just my opinion.
Let's have a question, I guess. This is Edgefield Water, correct?
Yes, sir.
They have any say as far as, or we have some sort of reciprocal agreement with them as far as when we take on an annexation into the city that, that it's their water they'll be used as well, so they'll have some work involved as well?
Correct. Edgefield Water will be used. It is their water and sewer district. The city will go to and get authorization from Edgefield County Water and Sewer. And remember, that's a different entity from the government there. And there has been a working agreement, because the Edgefield County Water and Sewer, it's cost prohibitive for them to provide sewer in this area. So they basically normally allow North Augusta to provide the sewer, and they will provide the water. And just what I know about water and sewer, the profit is on the water more so than the sewer for the authority there.
Can I ask you a question to follow up? Can I step on your tab? The cost of any potential lift stations or the moving of it, that's borne by the developer, correct?
Correct.
Bishop Clark, any?
Waiting for a motion?
Yes, please.
Excuse me. I'd like to make a motion for approval of annexation of application ANX 21-006 in regards to the 43.9 acres located on Martintown Road to be zoned R10. And are we working on the zoning or just the annexation?
It's the annexation with the zoning being R10 and R7. As
And the
shown.
medium lots, small residential, R7, for the 9.0 acres. And is this annexation to be recommended to the city council for approval, or do we make?
Correct.
Okay, with the motion to be recommended to the city council for approval.
And Mr. Key, would that be, would the zoning be, districts be as shown on page 174?
That is correct.
So just for clarification, we have a motion by Commissioner Key for application ANX 21-006 for the annexation of approximately 43.9 acres in total, as reflected with the zoning being changed, with the zoning of R10 and R7 as reflected on page 174 in the proposed, in this month's packet of a proposed zoning map. Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion or comments? Okay. I'm sorry, we've already. I'm sorry, we've already gone on and closed the public hearing portion. No, sir, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't see it, and so we'd already done and made a comment. Mr. Bunch, I'll let you, is there another comment or question that you have? Okay, if he's gonna give you the mic, I'm gonna go out of order because I couldn't see you, so I apologize for that. No, sir, because I thought we were finished with public hearing.
I want to know what this does to the proposed Edgefield County zoning of light commercial for that same area.
Okay. So unfortunately, unless there is someone who just happens to have knowledge of the zoning for Edgefield County, I do not know. Mr. Paradise, if you could give us some insight into how that'll work, please.
If this property is annexed into the city of North Augusta, the zoning that Edgefield County has on the property will go away. And what the city zones that property as will be the controlling zoning district. Just like when we annex a property in Aiken County's zoning does not apply. So if it comes into the city, it would be zoned what the city says, and it will comply, all of the development standards will be along the city of North Augusta standards.
All right, thank you. All right, any other questions for public hearing? All right. Given none, we will resume the vote. So the motion had been made and seconded. There were no further conversations or questions from the commissioners? Okay. All commissioners in favor of the annexation, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. All right. Thank you all, commissioners who've recused yourselves. If you could please join us again for the staff report and the conclusion of the meeting. Mr. Paradise. Mr. Paradise with, report, please.
Yes, ma'am. It is, I was looking at the monthly report today before the meeting to prepare some notes, and I was surprised at the lack of approvals, because the planning department has been busy, but it's things in the pipeline. I think you will probably have a busy meeting next month. But staff is also, we have the comprehensive plan that y'all have checked off on and recommended tonight. Staff is still working on the development code rewrite, working with the consultants there, and going through the different articles and the use tables and continuing that process, as well as we are trying to get the state, and we're still working on the traffic calming and pedestrian plan for downtown, that grant to be approved by SCDOT. We've had some communications with them through the month as well. So those are the things that's kind of on the cutting edge with the planning department. When you look at the numbers and you see 0 site plans or 0 there, it doesn't mean that we've been doing nothing. As y'all know, I don't know how it was before me, but I think I like to have lots of conversations with our developers before they start putting pencil to plans, and make sure that we don't have any unrecognized curveballs for them, and get all that worked out. So we are busy. It's just not reflective in the report as much as I would have liked.
Mr. Paradise, could you elaborate on that plan for the street common? I'm not familiar with it. Do we have a petition? South Carolina DOT?
We have an application to DOT for the Georgia Avenue Traffic Calming and Pedestrian Access Study. It is a request for a $50,000 grant. Have a consultant look at it and provide us information, to study it and give us some alternatives in how to calm traffic and make the downtown area of North Augusta more pedestrian friendly. This has been something that's been in the works for a while, but it is I believe it's a 20% match for the city or 10% match, I forget which. But by having SCDOT sign off, being the grantee or grantor, they've got to check all their boxes before they'll give us the money or let us go. And so that's the process we're in now, trying to get all the boxes checked.
Now, when you said let us go, what does that mean?
That means advertise it for an RFP and go out and find the design firm and get bids and quotes and come back and evaluate those. And then they'll be involved in the selection process as well.
And the only other alternative the city would have would be to petition to take that street into the city. Is that correct?
No, sir. There's two, they could certainly do that. But the other alternative would be not do it on a grant and the city pay $50,000 rather than about $5,000. So, or $5,000 or $10,000. So that's the difference. And of course, if the city owns it, then they could make the improvements without DOT, but at the same time, I believe is that US 20? That's not US 25 there, is it?
Okay. I don't think so.
So they, you'd still have to be with good engineering practices and all of that stuff, so you'd still go back to the DOT guidelines. The biggest thing is getting that study off the ground. That's, I would have liked to have had it completed or in process by now. But, I'm waiting on DOT.
So when you, just piggyback, so when you begin the study, is that tacit approval that South Carolina Department of Transportation is going to allow a traffic calming in the event we come up with a reasonable plan? It was my understanding that it was a daunting task to get that, the state-owned arterial road to be calmed. I could be wrong.
And it's all in what the traffic calming measures are. But I think that with the SCDOT having 80% stake in the cost of the plan and being a participant in the plan, that gives them some skin in the game to, that whatever comes out of the plan to implement.
So you're saying if the plan says it's a good idea, they're gonna do it?
No, ma'am.
I didn't think so. They had never done any of them.
Yeah, all I can say, if
Yeah.
it's in the plan, it's in the plan. As I'll tell you, it doesn't count until they start moving. You can have the plan approved, but it don't count
Well,
until
that's
it's
what.
bid out and they're moving dirt.
Well, that's what I was commenting on, because we have, we just did all of this comprehensive plan, and it talks about making it more walkable, and it makes it better, and it makes it slowed down. But every time we go forward, we don't get anywhere with SCDOT.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
on the other end, at Martintown Road, it was all imposed by South Carolina Department of Transportation, and then Georgia came across the river and did it.
Well, now, there's a portion, the city of North Augusta did do the Martintown Road Corridor Study.
Right,
And that is similar to what's going on with the traffic calming study.
right. But I do think it's very necessary, and how long have we been fighting for that to be slowed down on Georgia Avenue? I mean, I'm not being, how many?
years.
Yeah.
This is
I
a
mean,
high,
you're new here, but it's been a long time.
I can tell you, this is a high priority for administration.
Mm-hmm.
It's a high priority for me and others above me, but we move as fast as DOT's
Oh,
going
I
to let us.
know, I'm not blaming you, I'm just saying.
Now, Ms. Mackie, I agree with you. I wish we were in the middle of this process already. But we'll get there.
Yeah, okay.
I'm all in favor. It would change the downtown area completely. It would be a different, I mean, it already has a nice feel that we're moving toward, but to have trees in the middle and wider sidewalks, and it would be real nice.
Thank you. You completed your staff report?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, thank you all. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll be back in December. Thank you all. Good night. It's adjourning. Oh, do I need a motion to adjourn?